Are you looking to build a website or mobile application? Well, I'm Dan Melnick, and I'm the founder of Zeng. And I started this company because I had trouble finding good developers. I partnered with Qasim Masood, and he's in Pakistan. I'm in Austin, Texas, to offer cost-effective software development. We work in U.S. hours, and we're very efficient. We've worked with some of the top companies that you might recognize, like Last Media and AppSumo, and we'd love to help you out as well. So check us out, myzeng.io.
Yeah, my name is Moty Cristal, and I'm a professional negotiator. I started my career years ago involved in political negotiations. I'm an Israeli, so I was involved almost a decade in the Israeli-Arab political negotiations in the 90s and late and early 2000s. Part of the Israeli Prime Minister's negotiation teams. As part of this profession as a negotiator, I 25 years ago started to work also in the field of hostage and crisis negotiation, hostage taking, barricade, and all this type of intense crisis communication. As a natural evolution, about 10 years ago, someone who knows me from that hostage world asked me and told me, Moty, can you speak with the bad guys? I said, that's what I do. I'm speaking with the bad guys. And he had a case involved a white hat hacker, which threatened to publish source code of their hardware. It was not what we see today. It was a much simple case with a known person. And since that event, I started slowly to direct and to adjust the word of hostage and crisis negotiation actually to the word of digital. And when actually your data or your systems are taken hostages, not in the physical world, where actually you can manipulate the terrorist or the criminal to the window, and the SWAT team or the military will just knock him dead. In the digital world, you cannot, make a honeypot, and there the forensic team will wait for him. No, this doesn't exist in the digital world. In the digital world, in the virtual, in the cyber realm, you need actually to take advantage of professional negotiation and professional communication skills in order to support the overall management of the event. So that's I like to say that's my night job. Day job, I work in very complex problem-solving situation, which involves intense negotiations, operation, some influence campaign. This is what I do when I'm not talking with cyber criminals.
So what exactly, that motivation is driving you to do, this kind of a survey?
That's a fascinating question. Actually, I was never asked this question in this context. What motivates me is really to show people, clients, and sometimes my wife or my friends, that when you speak smartly with the other person, when you know how to profile them, when you listen to them, you can actually get a lot of what you want by constructing your communication in a way that will make them say yes. In the word of the famous Harvard negotiation guru, Professor Roger Fisher, with whom I had the privilege to work with many years ago, he always used the frame yesable preposition. Most of the people, regardless of age, gender, culture, most of the people are designing or crafting their communication in a conflictual structure. And when they get the no, they usually push back. Why not? It's a good offer. Take it. You should take it. That's not the way we as hostage negotiators, that's not the way we think. We always prefer or work or pay attention that when we present a proposal, when we present an offer, it will be presented in a way which maximizes the chances of the other side to say yes. This is what Roger Fisher called a yesable proposition. So what motivates me is first to show everybody that actually you can make people say yes. And because in parallel to my day job and night job, I also teach a lot around the world. What motivates me is to spread the knowledge, to give this way of mindset, this way of thinking about human interaction, about hostile conversation, to make people learn that there are tools, there are techniques actually to get what you want, even with the most vicious Lockbit or Akira or any other threat actor that you're dealing with, let alone with your mother-in-law or with your wife.
So, negotiation strategies. So, how do you think and how things will work? And what are the greatest projects that you worked for, and uh, how you got succeeded in it?
Well, we spoke within the cybersphere, and the cybersphere, the issue of ransomware and extortion is a whole professional sphere and reality. And I will try to give you first an overview for your viewers, for your audience, and then Sai, feel free to dig in to any particular element which interests you. Okay?
Yeah.
When a company is hit by a cyber crisis, there is a lot of confusion, a lot of hysteria, a lot of we don't know what happened, systems are not functioning, we got threatening email, a lot of smoke, like an explosion. What I'm doing, part of professional incident response team, I work with several companies worldwide known. When we come, the first 12, 24 hours, sometimes it takes more, 72 hours, is help the client understand what happened. What we call understanding the scope of event. Is it a politically motivated group that wipe off all your data because they want to publish that we attack Israel health sector? Or is it a Chinese financial motivated group which actually just encrypted your data, didn't steal the data, and just you need to buy a decryption? Or is it a Russian-based, financially motivated threat actor known Akira, Ransom House, Lockbit, who actually exfiltrated your data, they have your data, and they encrypted your systems, and now you need to pay twice. That's double ransom. You need to pay for a non-publication of the data, and you need to pay for a decryption. We help the client understand which systems were hurt. Is the fact that there is no external communication of the system is a result of the hack, of the breach, or is just a precaution that taken by a very active CISO who decided to disconnect the systems from the internet? So the first 24, 48 hours, through technology, through communication and engaging with the threat actor, if there is a threat actor, of course. And in the first 12 to 72 hours, we help the client understand what's the scope of the crisis. Then comes the second phase, that it is mainly led by business continuity. The client usually deploy once the client understands, or the company understands what happened. The company can assess which part of the system they can continue, operate. Are we hurt only on the financial systems and the operational system are working? Is only the warehouse and logistics systems down, but the production is still going on? So usually after 72 hours, the company has a good understanding how they can continue operate the business. Of course, many times, mainly in online services or software, sometimes companies completely shut down. There's no operation whatsoever. So after 72 hours, mainly the business approach leads. We continue to do the forensic, the investigation, sometimes containment, technological containment effort, and if possible, we start to recover from backup if it didn't hurt. Usually, that's the time that myself, as a negotiator, I seek instruction from the decision makers whether we should continue and look for a deal because they need the decryption key, because the data is very sensitive and I need to pay for non-publication, or actually the company tells me, we managed to recover from backup. Please just play for time in order to prevent the publication of the data, etc., etc. Yeah.
So you're working with different clients and different businesses have different models, and from small scale to large scale. So how different it is to working with different scale companies, and how do you actually find which problem actually to be solved?
I like your question really, because they are fresh. I mean, they're not the typical question asked. I answer in two different questions. First, how I get into this, how I get the clients. I get the clients usually in my cooperation with cyber incident response companies. Okay, I usually come with very strong cybersecurity companies. Signia, a global company, Code Blue, Israel and Europe incident response companies, Confidas, Israel, US. So these are incident response which do mostly the forensic. Some of them do the overall crisis. So I'm their negotiator. So I come with a package. Sometimes I work with insurance companies and they have a panel of service providers, forensic, legal, privacy, security, negotiation, and the insurer actually assigned my services to a certain client. So that's how I come to the situation. Many times I support the client because I'm an old man, experienced, and many times I support the client far beyond negotiating with the bad guys. because sometimes the CEO of the company really see the bad guys not as the threat actor, but rather the board member or a hostile board, and says, help me managing the internal dynamic, because they start a blame game, start internal accusation. So I'm in service for any negotiation challenge, any support, dialogue support for the decision maker. And I had so many cases in the past that the CEO calls me on not on the incident WhatsApp group and ask my advice how, I suspect the CISO, he tried to hide evidence, or I don't trust my lawyers because they report to the board. So being a negotiator, I serve many times as a problem solver to any type of event that happens in the overall reality of a cyber crisis. Who are the clients? From billion-dollar companies to a small garage in suburbs of Tel Aviv. Some of the work I do for free. If it's a small company, a small garage, a small family business which was attacked, and ransom is $10,000, I will not, probably I will help them, I will support them without any, but most of the majority of the projects are companies, medium, big, and huge size companies, where we, with the forensic and with the security teams, we handle the crisis for weeks. And when it comes to India, because concept of time in India is much longer, it could be even months of the event because of the cultural concept of time.
And is it same working for small and big scale companies? Like, you have already mentioned the time that will take.
No. Again, that's an interesting question. Sometimes when I'm asked to play for time, and the company tells me, we need to buy time. So my question is, what you need the time for? Because one thing is I need time in order to recover from backup. I don't need a decryption. Just give me 4 or 5 days to recover the system, to clear the systems, so we will be up in the air again, like nothing happened in 5 days. Makes sense. Sometimes we say, I need a week before the data will be published, because I want to inform privately all my key clients. Part of the preparation that we work with companies, we advise companies to classify their clients in terms of importance, so sensitivity, importance, business-wise, sensitivity of the data, etc. So when a company is hit by cyber crisis, which involves data exfiltration and stealing of data, we advise the client to inform and to enter into dialogue with definitely the VIP clients, the most important clients, the most sensitive clients. It's better for a client to hear from his service provider that the service provider was hit than to find the data outside in the darknet, etc. So sometimes the company, my client tells me, I need a week to communicate with this key client, important client. And sometimes and I would say, Sai, in particular in Asian companies and Asian clients, there is a significant distance, formal distance, hierarchy between management and the board. Okay? And we found that in many cases, the company, the CISO, the CFO, the CEO are, I don't want to say embarrassed, but are very reluctant to share with the board immediately what happened. This is a very, very classic Asian feature, which doesn't exist in the West. In the West, when a crisis is hit, the company within a day immediately involves the board, and we have a very intimate and close supervision of the board on the management action and the management conduct of the crisis. In Asian countries, from what we see, from what we experience, there is a tremendous hierarchy gap between management and the board. So sometimes the time is needed in order to speak with the board, and there were events in Asia that my colleagues, not myself, from the incident response team, flew and met the board in person to brief them professionally on what happened. Why? Because of this cultural dimension of hierarchy in the in board management behavior.
And working for different companies which belongs to different countries. So like I've mentioned, there is difference between West and East. And how do you find difference in working with, different parts of the planet?
I think that this is probably the most interesting and fascinating. I would not say joyful because it's a crisis, but when you communicate with a threat actor and you represent and you are part of an Indian company or you're part of a German company, it's not the same communication. You have to get into the role and play. Sometimes, I will not share, of course, the screenshots, but sometimes you can even hear the accent in the way I write the messages. Because, different cultures, Filipinos or Thais are very emotional, okay? Indians are very respectful to authorities. Germans are very formal, okay? Americans always try to be friendly. British, when the British company was hacked, the British are always this very, double meaning, quite sophisticated in their text, etc. So for me, because I'm an international negotiator, not only on cyber crisis, in deals, M&A, shareholders conflicts around the world, because I'm familiar with the different cultures. For me, I adjust both my communication to the threat actor, but also my conduct with the client. If the client is a German company, I will not reply to a status meeting with general terms of trust me, it's going to be okay. I will be very, very detailed in my report to the Germans, which I don't have to do when I work with Israelis. With Israelis, I will tell them, guys, trust me, I know what I'm doing, focus on something else. So the cultural adjustment are when I work with the client in my way of behaving with the client, okay? And also in the persona that I play vis-a-vis the threat actor in different crises.
So apart from being a negotiator, you also teach students. You're a professor as well.
Yes.
And how you developed this kind of a skill set and this kind of an understanding, and how you developed this kind of solving the conflicts between people or companies, or it can be working for a government organization.
Well, that's a big question. How you actually ask how you teach it, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
How you
it's
developed this kind of a skill set?
how you
Developed this kind of a skill
well
set?
that's a frustrating question. Why it's a frustrating question? Because when people ask me questions, they expect to get an answer, a very clear answer. To this question, I don't have an answer. I don't have a clear answer, because many times students come to me in class and say, Professor, you're dealing with very, very interesting cases. What's the career path to grow, to develop this skill set? And actually there isn't. There is no, one of my biggest failures is that I have not managed to put together a school that works with that. And I know the reason. The reason is because what I do is more art than science. Many years ago, 15 years ago, people told me, Moty, if you want to scale up, that's the magic word. If you want to make a lot of money and scale up and be a very successful consulting firm, you need to develop a model and duplicate it. So not you will do it, your, assistants and subordinates, and you will just count the money. I fail to do that because that's an art. I cannot model the nuances of a problem that I solved, because each case is very different. Each case is very unique. So if I will try to AI it, this is why I have no fear of AI, because they cannot replace human beings when it comes to my field, So I do have a conceptual framework, and this is what I teach. I teach based on my experience, based on negotiation knowledge, and most importantly, based on theories of complexity, system thinking, and the science of chaos and complexity. I developed a model, a conceptual framework. This is what I teach, and then apply it to any particular context. That's the art. And that requires the nuances. And this is something that you cannot really structurally teach, because it requires many, many characteristics. For example, to be successful, it requires a lot of patience. Most of the people are not patient. Most of the people want results now, an outcome now. Most of the people don't understand that, you need to cultivate things. Okay? I had a year ago an event with an Indian client, and the threat actor really lost his patience. And you promised today and tomorrow, and I started with the threat actor to give him a course on cross-culture communication. I told him, there are this culture, that time is different than your culture. The Italians, the Indians, the Arabs, this is the manana cultures, the time. So this AI cannot do. AI cannot, and sometimes, people are not patient. If the threat actors start to attack them, probably they will push back. Or they will say, I have nothing to do about it. My client doesn't respond to it. You need to be patient. You need to be creative. You need to do something that many, many people not necessarily do. You need to admit your failures. You need to learn from your failure. Any negotiation, any project that I finish, if it's a big project, I take a day. If it's a small project, I take an hour or so to write down, not in my head, write down the lessons learned, what I fucked up in this process. Okay? What should I improve? So all these characteristics, you cannot model it. You need to be someone who's very passionate about human being. You need to be someone who's very curious about new things. You need to be someone who really expects things that are not expected. You need to be someone who feels very comfortable with uncertainty. You told me, let's do this interview, and I said, yes, I let you know. And you said, okay, let me know, Moty, whenever you can. And then I told you yesterday, let's do it today. Most of the people, Sai, are not working like that. They schedule. Most of the people feel stress with uncertainty. I educated myself. It's not about development. I educated myself to say, I don't know. The most challenging thing was educating my mother. Jewish family, Shabbat dinner, Friday night, every week. Usually we eat with my parents, and my mother needs to know, are you coming this Friday? And I said, I don't know. She said, but I need to prepare. I said, I don't know. So we came to an agreement that I will tell her maximum by Thursday night if we come on Friday. So, educating people to live with uncertainty, all these elements are the reason why I don't have a huge consulting firm and why I prefer to work alone, special operation, control my time, and work with whatever interests me.
And in this evolution of technology that you have been from long time, what are the major changes that you are observing, and what kind of attacks that that you are watching?
That's an important question. It's an important question because the attack surface every month, the attack surfaces increases. Companies and individuals are today completely exposed, and to some extent, it doesn't matter how many security layers they will put. It's true. Use the basic cyber hygiene, like passwords, like two-factor authentication, like very clear credential hierarchy, and not system admin has a password 1234. There is a certain cyber hygiene which each individual and company should observe, but even when you do that, which prevents you from, I would say, simple attacks, but from the more sophisticated attacks, it doesn't matter how many layers of security you will put. The fact that a company has so many attack surface, from the VPN to the cloud to the IoTs to the production, the fact that a surface attack is so huge really exposed them. More than that, AI really allows the threat actor to shorten the time from a defense to a more sophisticated attack. AI is used by hackers today not only to advance the development of the tools and the malwares, but also to offer a much more sophisticated social engineering. They are no longer a Nigerian prince sending you an email. Now, with AI, they can very easily monitor and read out your emails in no time, know exactly that you're interested in medieval fashion, and then send you an email, which is a phishing email, but it is tailor-made for you. So we are beyond the era of the Nigerian prince, and it is much more AI tailored. So technology, the cat and mouse race between defense and attack, became today much faster, much quicker, and much more spread on various attack surfaces, which is a huge challenge. This is why, and I'm not a technological person whatsoever, this is why some of the focus in cybersecurity starts to shift from defense to proper and effective crisis management. We're not there yet. I'm involved with an Israeli startup, Sai in developing a dashboard, a platform which actually will enable companies not to enter into confusion and hysteria or fear when they are hacked. Why? Because they have already installed an emergency manual, a platform, a dashboard, which they will practice, they will be familiar with. So when they are hit, they know exactly what to do. So they don't need to rush to find someone. They have all the service providers. They have all the relevant. So the technology is changing fast, dramatically. AI introducing new challenges, both in the development of the malware tools, but also on the very sophisticated social engineering and attack vectors. And the surface increased. So the response to all these trends is be ready, be prepared, and also use technology to advance your preparation, not your defense. Technology that will help you better manage access when it will hit, because it's just a matter of time when it will hit.
I'm sure you might have worked with different business leaders who are from technology background and who are not from technology background. So who are doing bigger mistakes?
Again, when we there is one course that I run with the help of many colleagues, professionals, about managing cyber crisis. And the first time I ran it, it was 90% technological leaders. But slowly, more and more business leaders start to attend. Because companies start to understand that a cyber crisis is not a technological event. A cyber crisis is a managerial challenge. The cyber or the technological factor of a cyber crisis is limited. Forensic investigation, capability to recover, how to recover safely. This is only 20% of the crisis. The rest of the 80% is how you maintain your business continuity. Which are the business priorities? With whom of the clients you communicate? How you handle the privacy crisis? How you negotiate with the authorities about privacy, about regulation, about compliance? How you deal with your negotiation with the board? How you negotiate with the, how you build your reputation? Some of my colleagues argue that a cyber crisis is a media crisis. I disagree, because sometimes a crisis is not in the open. It doesn't happen in the media. So the more business leader will understand that preparing for a cyber crisis and managing a cyber crisis is not a technological challenge, that actually the role of the CISO in a cyber crisis is diminishing, and the CISO is not the most important person in the room, the more they will understand it, the more effective they will be in managing the crisis.
Okay. So the time that you have given me is like, then, so do you have a message or, how, the business leaders who will be watching and listening to this conversation from anywhere on this planet? So what do you say to them, and how they can able to use your service?
Well, when I ask this question, the first answer, the immediate answer is, have my mobile on your speed dial. Call and I will provide you with an immediate relief when you are hit with a crisis. That's on I would say that's on joking or answering the immediate stress level. Answering a more structured answer would be, check to what extent you have a crisis management plan in place. Not what are your cybersecurity defense. No. That's, I'm sure that your CISOs are doing a great job and ask you more and more resources and more budget to install another system, another security. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking to what extent you as a business leader look into the organization and ask your management, what if we are hit? Do we have a plan? Do we have the vendors? Do we know who is our privacy lawyer? Who is our negotiator? Who is our incident response team? Who is our media consultant who has experience in managing cyber media crisis? If you don't have these vendors on your speed dial, if you don't have a cyber crisis preparation, if you do not simulate once a year, it will be very, very challenging. Don't wait for the crisis to hit. Put up crisis management plan, a crisis management structure, and work with companies who can prepare you for a crisis, not from a technological point of view.
Understood. So can you share your online presence, my audience, to my podcast listeners?
If I can.
Your online presence to my podcast listeners?
I think that the best would be LinkedIn, Moty Cristal, MOTYCRSTAL, or www.crisis.company. I think that you can start from there, or I'm very available. I'm very accessible, also for hackers, by the way. They know. But I respect everybody, so I feel no fear about that. That would be the best advice, is to reach out and to see how you work with professional teams to prepare you for a crisis.
I'll put your web links in the description, also in my website, also on the screen as well. People who find this audio and video clip anywhere in the internet can able to see the work that you're doing and see the service that you're providing and take the help, if they get into crisis.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Sai, for your tremendous global effort to disseminate the knowledge. I was following your website and your Twitter, and the fact that you're so passionate about teaching everybody and exposing them to cutting edge knowledge, I think that that's very, very crucial and important, and I thank you for that.
One observation of yours, will be extremely valuable for me. I'm a technologist by profession. I have done masters in software engineering, also bachelors in computer science and engineering. Right now I'm working as DevOps engineer. So that's my full-time role, doing engineering thing. So apart from this, I'm interviewing experts like you who are already in the industry from long time, for seeing and solving different kinds of problems, and for understanding the business side of the technology and trying to understand how to make things positive. So what I'm going to learn with this, business leaders interaction, and also people who are trying to solve the business, cyber security problems, like you. So what I'm going to learn, and how this experience, this conversations, this communication with global leaders are going to be helpful for me in future.
I think that you are like a kid who enters into an intellectual Disneyland or an intellectual candy shop. You are so exposed to many aspects of this world, and like a kid who stands in front of a candy shop and his parents tell him, okay, you need to buy only 2 things. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. So the same, I would say to you, being a software engineer, by the end of the day, it's boring. Okay. It's boring because, in my opinion, it's boring because the challenge is solvable. You will work hard, you will find the solution. But moving from technological challenges to human challenges, it's going into the wilderness, because there's no always a solution. As an engineer, if you will work hard, you will be able to crack the problem. But being in a managerial position, sometimes problems are not solvable. And then the challenge is how I create a better situation, a better dynamic. I didn't solve the conflict. I didn't solve the problem, but did I manage to arrange a more comfortable life, a more comfortable working environment? Did I manage to reduce the violent elements of the conflict? So you, as a software engineer, if you're in love with cracking and solving engineering or technological challenges, fine. In my opinion, when you're so exposed to this knowledge that is there with all the people with whom you talk, start climbing to the more managerial, manage people, manage team, be an intercultural interpreter. Okay, help Indian companies better negotiate or better build partnerships around the world with China, with Russia, with the West, with Africa, with Latin America. I think from my point of view, climbing up to more human managerial challenges, this is where you should take advantage of all the knowledge that you have.
Your extreme observation and your valuable information about my work, and since you have been doing a lot of managerial positions, and helping businesses, and you telling me this, I'm very small person, you telling this, it means a lot to me, and it helps me and makes me drive my work more, and makes me do more great things with this. I'm sure I'll say this, particular words of yours, and all my life, and I believe that this will help me in doing great things like you do. Can I put this video on? Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
And also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yes. Yeah. You have permission. Yes, of course.
Thanks, Moty, for your valuable time and sharing your work and answering to some of my questions.
Thank you very much, Sai, for the work you do, and we will be in touch. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye.